Hi Stampers, this is Trevis. Welcome to Video Tuesday. Hope you had a great weekend and a great week ahead. I'm looking at making a card today using some 6x6 designer series paper that I've had in my stash, trying to use it up. It's called Thoughtful Journey. This designer series paper is like scene paper, and I was recently at a weekend crop where I do scrapbooking, and a friend there was making a card using this paper, and I thought, I have this paper. Why am I not using it? It's gorgeous. So today we're going to make a card using this. It's not exactly her card. In fact, it's quite different, but I did make a couple similar to her cards. So thank you, Sharon, for the idea. I appreciate it. And let's get started. Less chatting, more stamping. Okay, so now that I have your attention, move this back. Okay, I am going to be using Peach Pie. This is the in color that's going to be around for another whole year. This paper is beautiful. I mean, this color is beautiful. So that's going to be the start of my card. I'm going to layer this with some other colors, but let's see. Yeah. So this is going to be, I'm using Peach Pie, and I'm also going to use Calypso Coral because I think these two really play well together. So I am going to start making this card, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer. Okay, I'm not going to use punches. If you have punches, you can certainly use them, or if you have dies. But the trick with this card is just some paper trimming. Okay, so I am going to be using this piece of paper. Okay, and if you look at it, it's kind of like a scene. It's, when I look at it, I guess I kind of think of Arizona. It's got these, I don't know, a lot of greens, and it has a few flowers in there. So I thought, let's cut some squares out of this. So I did cut, so this is 6x6, so I cut 2 inches off the bottom, 2 inches, and this will make your card. So what I did was I just cut the 2 inches like this, and you don't really have to keep them lined up because the way I designed the card, it really doesn't layer that way. But if you wanted to, you could kind of look and see if if they do line up. I'm not even sure if they do. But anyway, and then I cut some layered pieces, and I cut that out of Calypso Coral. So these are 2x2 squares, and then I cut the layer pieces 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. Okay, so those will layer underneath. And I sort of just looked at I looked at the back of the designer series paper to see all the colors that are in there, and it does tell me that Calypso Coral, also Peach Pie is in there, Wild Wheat. There's some of my favorite colors are in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is just adhere these to these squares. All right, I'm just going to use my regular adhesive for this part, and then I cut 3 of these, and again, I just cut these on my paper trimmer. Nothing extravagant, no dies needed. You can just cut these out. And actually, since this is 6x6 paper, you could make 3 cards out of 1 sheet of 6x6 paper. Of course, they'd all look different. Okay, so before I do anything with these, I want to do just a little bit of stamping. So sometimes I like to bring in I call them the old products and the new products, and show you a little bit of both. So Elements of Text is a stamp set that's in the online exclusives, and it is new, relatively new. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this big stamp. Probably my favorite out of all of these is this one. And these will fit, luckily they will fit on the block. And I'm just going to stamp tone on tone. So I'm going to stamp in Peach Pie on Peach Pie because I want it to be very subtle. I don't want it to be like in your face. So I'm just going to stamp this a couple times on here. Okay, so I just have that as my background. I've sort of made a background paper by doing that. All right. Then I'm going to take those pieces and I'm going to layer them onto this card. And I kind of was thinking of different ways of doing it. First, I thought I would just layer them like this you know, and pop one up. But then I kind of thought an angle would be cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to glue 2 of these down. I'm just going to start right here. I'm going to eyeball it. If you have your grid paper, you can use that. I'm just really kind of, I'm going to move it a little bit to the top. Sorry. And the reason is because this is the top, right? I want to make sure I got the top going. Okay, here's the top. Is because I'm going to stamp a greeting at the bottom. So I'm just going to layer this one. And then layer this one. Okay, so I'm kind of looking here at the top to see that they are the same distance. I'm putting the point all the way to the edge. Okay, and if you're wondering what size this cardstock is, for my first layer, it is just a smidge over 5 and about 3 and, about 3 and 5/8. All right, now I'm going to pop this one up. I'm just going to put some dimensionals on this one. I have the other cards that I created, and I'm going to show you those at the end of the video. I had somebody comment that it takes too long for me to show the card. Well, when I'm creating the card, sometimes I don't have a card created already, so it's just the way it is. You just have to wait till the end to see the card. If I have the card, I guess I could show it like from the get-go, but for me, I kind of like to wait. It's kind of like showing you the finished product. Okay, now the sentiment I'm going to use is from Arched Wishes. This stamp set actually coordinates with the Arch dies, and I'm like this one a lot better than the initial one that came out. I really like the Arch, but I'm just going to use this Happy Birthday. Whoa. And I'm going to stamp this in just black ink, just right here at the bottom. So I sort of thought this is a cheerful card because of the colors I'm using. It's very cheerful, but yet it could be, you know, an anybody card. Okay, so I'm thinking, you know, this could be for a man, even though the colors are pretty bright and cheerful. They like colors. Okay, so now I am going to layer this on here. And this is the Calypso Coral. So it is a little bit larger because I'm layering it. It's 5 1/4 by 4. I'm just going to go ahead and layer this. And can you see how these don't perfectly line up, but because they are from the same piece of designer series paper, they certainly play together and they don't need to be lined up. Okay, I have a piece of white cardstock. I scored it. This is my cardstock base. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. I did score it at 4 1/4. Now I'm just going to adhere this together. So now this is going to layer nicely because it's just a smidge bigger. Okay, so I think it needs an embellishment. And I was looking for some Calypso Coral dots. Well, these actually are called Sunny Day Iridescent Dots, but the color is actually pumpkin pie. But seriously, do you think anyone would know? I don't think so. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some of these dots. And there's 2 different sizes. There's the large and the small. I don't think they're really small. They're kind of like a medium. A large and a medium. Maybe I'll do 2 larges over here. Probably should have put this one up higher. There we go. I had tossed around using these itty bitty bouquet mix, but they're really a lot of blues and magentas and things like that in here, so I opted out on that. Okay, so there is my finished card today. Okay, now, just so you know, that you could make, I don't even know, tons of cards from this paper pack. 6x6 designer series paper is, you know, if you're making a regular size card, if you're using it on your regular size card, you don't get a whole lot out of one piece. But if you are using it this way, you can get, I could get 3 cards out of one piece. So let me show you my other 2 cards that I made. And I did use a different piece of the paper for this card. These cards, I used this piece. So you can see, obviously, there's a very, this paper is delicious. And this piece actually made 2 cards. And here is the first card I made. And here is the second card I made out of 1 piece. And I still had 2 inches by 6 inches left. Okay. So the trick with this one is you just cut your designer series paper 4 inches. That leaves this piece at the bottom, right? That's not to be used for this card. Cut these in half. And then that leaves 3 by 4. So you're going to have a 3 inch by 4 inch. And then you're going to cut those into slices, you know, little slim pieces. Now, just to give you a heads up, this is 1 inch and these are 1/2 inch. So that's how it works. So that actually uses your 3 inches. 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Then you layer them and just tuck them behind. You do have to trim off a little bit on these, right, to make them look like stacked. On this one, I did some white heat embossing. And I have to tell you, I just bought the new Wow Wow embossing powders. And they definitely are wow. I had the old embossing powders, and I'm just like over the moon how bright and that white is compared to my old one, my old white that I've had for years. So just giving you a heads up that this is wild wheat, this is Cajun Craze, and then I thought that looked nice on there. With this one, I thought it would look better in black, and so I added some black rhinestones. Okay, so those are my 3 cards today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. My name's Trevis Bossler, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Louis, Missouri. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye!